Hello, my MFA 608 students. Welcome to Module 4. Let's get right to it. Learning objectives. All right, so basically we're going to do two activities this module. One gets to kind of help us practice being the lens of an editor and one of a proofreader. Well, wait a minute, what's the difference? Well, that's one thing we're going to discover and practice and learn about in this particular module. And also we give all sorts of resources to help you with that. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. Okay, so the module overview. Okay, so can be very intimidating when you look at this. Just keep in mind that when you read over this is basically broken up in traditional publishing, the types of editing that happens, and in independent publishing or self-publishing. There are all sorts of different types of editors that are out there. Everyone kind of maybe has a different idea of what editing means, but this kind of helps you understand the various roles that are kind of standardized sort of throughout the industry. So go ahead and read through that. Yeah, that's fun times to be had by all. All right, moving on. Okay, module at a glance. We're going to be doing some activities. Yeah, since we're going to be walking through, and we're going to spend a lot of time on that page. And here is your reading and resources. Okay, what type of, so there's a bunch of different ones. Again, these all are going to be beneficial to you. Just a quick note about the Chicago Manual of Style. I have a love-hate relationship with this. When my first book was edited and was going through the editing process through my traditional publisher, we would fight over particular things, and they say, well, according to the Chicago Manual, I'm like, you know what? That's fine, but, creative writers, sometimes we want to have our own style. Not that mine was wrong, it just didn't fit the manual. So sometimes it's like, you have to exercise a little creative freedom, but anyway, it is what it is. Okay, so those are reading and resources. Okay, and before we get started, there will be an additional lesson, resource, again, video that I will post in the announcements. Hopefully you enjoy those. I try to make those somewhat entertaining and relatable, so there is that. So that will be in the announcement section. Okay, let's get to the first assignment. Woohoo! The first assignment, which is going to be this editing assignment. Okay, so what does that even mean? Well, it's this. Okay, so basically a client brings you a piece of writing. Okay, they have requested you do a proofread, which is your least expensive service. Well, what exactly is a proofread? Well, we'll get to that in a second. What kind of edit do you think the piece actually requires, and why? In this activity, you're going to provide editing feedback to the client. Okay, so this is a little, there's two parts to this. Okay, so here's the writing sample. If you click on this, you get the writing sample, which is, oh my gosh, I got a lot of stuff here. This is the model right here. Okay, so this is the thing. So you're going to read through this. They are asking for a proofread. And what is a proofread compared to the other types of editing? So we'll get to that in just a second, okay? So it's not very long. So what I would do if I were you is I'd read through this first, okay? And then let's go ahead and go back to this, okay? So there is a resource. Where is it? I think it's actually back found under the module overview. Yeah, the different stages of editing a novel. So when you click on this link right here, it brings you to this web page, okay? And this is what I would spend some time looking at. So these are the different types of editing that is generally provided. Manuscript critique, like overall developmental editing, okay? Stage 2 is line editing, copy editing, and then stage 3 is proofreading. Basically, you're not saying whether the work is good or not. You need to change wholesale changes, but basically it's like a final check. Basically addresses nearly all the same issues as a copy editor. Okay, well, the copy editor kind of does this. So you're just basically looking for last minute errors. Okay, so that would be, so they're requesting this source right here. So you just basically double checking to make sure everything is okay, or there's whatever, like grammar and punctuation and stuff like that. Okay, but you're not giving it wholesale changes as far as as the point of view or stuff like that. So question 1 here is basically, do you feel like you can do just a proofread, or does it need something else? Okay, so compose a brief letter to the writer explaining your coach and assessment for the work that should be done. Say, you know what, I think proofread will be fine, and I'll be happy to do that for you. Okay, or hey, you know what, actually you need to have a more of a in-depth thing and explain why. And again, you would just kind of use one of these things. It's like, hey, you know, really you need developmental editing or whatever. It's your choice based on that reading that you did. Okay, and then based on what you have told them. Now, normally you'd say, hey, this is what you actually recommend. Say, yes, a proofread would be fine. And then you would get their permission, and then you would actually do the editing techniques, okay? Well, we're going to skip the step where they approve it, okay, because we don't have that. But then you're going to apply the proper editing techniques based on what you feel that work needs. So if you feel it needs more than just a simple proofread, then go ahead and do that, okay? And then it says applies the proper editing techniques to the writing. Well, how do you do that? Well, simply you just go here and you turn on your track changes, okay? And then you can make the changes and make comments and stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. Whatever you need to do to give feedback on this particular assignment. So let's go back to this. So there you go. So that's what you're going to be doing. You give them a letter saying, hey, yes, a proofread is what you need, or actually you need more of a line edit, whatever it is. And then you actually do what you tell them that needs to be done, and then you submit that, and that is what we're doing for that activity. Okay, clear, clear, clear. All right, let's go back to Module 4. And there's a surprise coming up. Did you fall asleep yet? Because there's a surprise coming up. Okay, Module 4. Are we in Module 4? We are. Okay, so that's the activity. Now, the next one is Prompt 4-3. Here's a surprise. This is missing something. Okay, it says when you're ready to submit the assignment, go to critique it, which will be on the next page. It's actually not on the next page. It's missing from this module. So I put in a ticket to have that fixed. It will be fixed by the time this module rolls around. I do these videos in advance. So I'll send out another video that explains how you actually do this part. But basically, let me just explain what this assignment is. Last module, you wrote your philosophy on coaching and mentoring, okay? And then you sent it to me, and I gave you feedback or whatever. You're going to take that same exact paper, okay, that same assignment, and you're going to submit it for your peers to actually then give you feedback. All right, and let's take a look at this assignment. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to take your work and you're going to upload it to critique it, which I can't show you in this video, but it'll be in another video. And then you are going to give feedback. And what kind of feedback are you going to give? Well, the strengths and weaknesses, okay, provide specific examples of strengths and weaknesses, opportunities for revision, okay, and you need to provide at least feedback to at least 2 of your classmates, okay. So basically what you're going to do is, again, you'll see this all in the other video. What I'm going to look for is, did you read the work, and then did you give specific examples of strengths and weaknesses and suggestions for revision, and practice the skills that we've kind of made as far as the rules that we've had when it comes to revision, right? Right, okay. So there is that assignment, which is a lot of fun. Okay, and again, there's a video that will walk you through the process of how to do that. I can't show you right now because it's not here. Now, keep in mind that when you go to give feedback, here are actually 2 super important things. Number 1, submit your work right away. You have already completed this draft, when we go back to this thing, your philosophy. Post that right away, like as soon as you can early in the week, because that will give people a chance to actually work on it. If you post it at the very last minute, then you're not going to get feedback, okay? Don't do that. Post it right away. Also, we want to have at least 2 people give you feedback. So when you go in, and again, this will be shown in the other video, when you go in to give feedback, find someone who has not received feedback yet or has not received a lot of feedback. So first look to see if anyone has a 0 as far as feedback goes. And again, that'll explain in the other video. And then from there, you can go ahead. So we don't want to have one person have, 5 people respond and then one person with 0 people respond. So make sure you're cognizant of that. And how do you get graded on this? Well, basically, did you give specific feedback on the strengths and the weaknesses? And did you suggest revisions? That is for each one that you do. And did you do at least critique for 2 of your classmates? Okay. And then last but not least, so again, when this is fixed, you'll click here and it will take you to that critique it thing. And then last but not least, remember that you need to supply over the course of the semester 5 resources for the class, and that is posted in the course menu under discussions and all the way to the bottom, classes right there. So that is it for Module 4. And then watch the other video that shows you how to actually do the critique thing, which we posted in this announcement. And there you go.